please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will call the regular city council meeting to order. The mayor is obviously not going to be here tonight. So we'll move to, actually, before we move to approval of the agenda, Brian had asked that we add number 5.5, and we will call that adjustment of December city council meeting dates.
Thank you.
I'll make that a motion to add that. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, so now we'll move to approval of the amended agenda. Do I have
I move that we approve the amended agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Consent agenda. Does anybody want to discuss anything specific on the consent agenda that we want to pull out?
I had a question on, go with the page here, sorry, I just pulled up. There was a, page 6 of the scheduled claims, there was a $3,500 to Metra Software for Dutton and Leanne Son Company.
That's on the new water meters.
Okay,
That's part of that loan that we got for the big loan.
I assumed it was something new because the numbers for the accounts was a newer account number, so
Yeah.
it has to be a new account, so it has the right place to go. Okay.
So is that just a one-time deal on that?
Yes.
For that, okay, gotcha. Will there be any type of annual fee or anything for that?
Yeah, but I don't know what that'll be
Gotcha.
yet.
Gotcha, okay.
That's all I had.
Okay. So with that, we will, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes from the November 3rd meeting, warrants in the amount of 187,824.07, and payroll in the amount of $47,540.86. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Smith seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. This public forum will be for anything that we're going to take action on tonight, which would be item 5.5, the adjustment of the December council meeting dates, the agreement with utility service company, and Vine Street weight limit restriction. I think that would be it. Does anybody wish to address the council on any of those items? Okay, none. Moving on to 5.5, adjustment of the December council meetings. Brian?
Yes, Jen and I have a request to adjust the council meeting on the 1st of December and the 15th due to the Thanksgiving holidays immediately precedes the Monday board meeting, and it gives us a short amount of time to prepare bills and invoices for payment. It's also payroll week, so we're loaded. If there's any way we can adjust that date. I suggested the 8th and the 22nd, but it sounds like there's a school event on the 8th, so we don't want to mess that up. I could say maybe the 9th, if that would be more agreeable, and the 27th.
The reason I would like to change the 15th to the following week also is because it's the end of the year, and all the bills don't get in by the 15th. And we want to have everything, I don't want a whole bunch of encumbrances to carry over to January. So I think a meeting later than the 15th would be more beneficial to us.
So you're saying either the 9th or and the 22nd?
Yeah,
So move from the 15th to the 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually don't. I could make the 9th work if I had to, but
or for dates of, that fit better for your schedule. And we're not gonna be super picky, but
Does the 9th work for everybody else?
9th works for me.
Yeah, the ninth would work. for
Okay,
me.
if it works for everybody else, I can make it work.
okay. Thank you.
What about the 22nd?
It works for me too.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Well, then
Okay.
I will make a motion that we adjust the December schedule from December 1st to December 9th, and then adjust the December 15th meeting to December 22nd, all at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
I guess we're sticking at 5 o'clock, I assume.
That's what I said, time,
Oh, same
time
time. Oh,
stays the
gotcha.
same.
Okay, my fault.
And we'll get that out, social
Not
media,
bad.
city
Yeah.
website, we'll
Catch
run a
that.
classified ad in the paper
Yep.
accordingly so that that gets out.
That'd be great.
Where, folks can see that changes. And we'll post on the doors too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Item number 6, petition to vacate alley adjacent to 303 Tanglewood Street. Brian?
Yes, in your packet, you've got a petition from, get his name correct here. Todd Winter, he bought the property, he's at 303 Tanglewood. He bought the property to his immediate south, which is unaddressed, but it's lot 5, block 4, I believe. And he is requesting that it's an unimproved alley, it's grass. There's no road of any sort, but there is a utility pole in the middle of the block between Tanglewood and the street to the east, I'm sorry.
Thorpe.
That's to the west.
Oh, gotcha.
So the one to the
Or
west
to the
is
west, I'm
Thorpe.
sorry, to the west,
Okay.
yes, the other way around. He's willing to leave a right-of-way access with a 14-foot wide gate, but he wants to put a fence across that. So he has the petition, according to our procedures, the petition comes tonight. We would, if we to move forward with this, then we will put a notice, for 20-day notice through the newspaper, so that people have a chance to comment. We would take that to the meeting on the 22nd for a public hearing, because it has to go to a public hearing where people can come and say yea or nay for that, and then you all would decide at that point to bless it or stop it.
This, would it go to planning and zoning, or I guess it's,
It's not required
since
to
it's
go.
different, I mean, it's not a zoning issue?
Just handle it by ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah,
He says because he wants to put a street across, that's what I was trying to figure out, is what the gain, or sorry, a fence across it?
yeah.
So he owns the property across it. He bought the vacant lot to the
south.
south there. And, he thought he could just put it across there, but we told him he couldn't block across that alley. And, so he, offered to just put a gate across the alley. I said, well, it's still an alley, it's still public access. And I said, if it was vacated, that'd be a little different. We can put the gate across there. He's gonna let us still have, easements for things, and we can still reach our utility pole that's there on the corner. There's a utility pole there to the west of his property, and, we'll still have access to all that. Even if we couldn't use the gates, we'd still have access to that.
Are there any underground utilities that run in that alley right now?
There is a phone line back there, also right by the utility pole that comes from, Thorpe Street also.
No water or sewer that runs through there that you?
No. Not that I'm aware of. I've been over there with Stephen, and Stephen and I kind of went over that with him.
So James or Brian, either one, I guess. And I don't think we necessarily, he's not looking for action on this tonight, right? I mean, we just have it on here as a discussion item.
Right, because we have to go to the public notice. We have to notify any resident within 300 feet of the alley. And I think in your packet there, you'll see an identification of what that should be.
Do we have to approve the petition in order to even do any of that?
I don't think so, other than to say, yeah, it's okay for us to proceed with it. There's no place to sign, it's just, he signed the request and notarized it. Then the ordinance would be, you would approve the ordinance when it's time to do that, should there be.
The only thing would be
decide to do
acknowledgement
it.
that we received it, which
Yeah, you're,
we don't have to really vote on that, it's just.
yeah,
like
you
we
just acknowledge.
Received it.
Yeah, and it's, you just, I guess, say it's okay to move forward.
James, do you have any issues with it?
I don't
From
see
a-
anything, I don't see
from
any
a-
troubles with it, especially since he's gonna put a gate in there.
Yeah.
You know, he wants a place to put his dogs, he's got a small backyard.
Okay. So we want to make a motion to,
Just as well as we
Acknowledge.
have it covered, that we
Yeah.
did it, so. I'll make a motion that we acknowledge we received the petition and allow it to move forward to vacate the alley at 303 Tanglewood.
I'll second that.
it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, thank you, we'll get that posted.
Agreement with utility service company. Brian?
Yes, last meeting we had a representative here that talked about the, it was upstairs, it talked about the, service agreement for the large water tower. And this is just the same contract that we presented in for your, to review and approval, if you wish to move forward with that.
One question I had some questions. Now, we currently have a contract with them on the smaller water towers, is that correct?
Yes, we do.
It's that same contract, and that one was like 12,000,
Yeah, it's about half.
approximately $12,000. The one thing I was just gonna kind of point out doing the math here, this, and the proposed one was approximately $23,000 annually for the bigger one.
$23,283.
Okay. So, one factor here is, you know, that comes up to about $35,000 annually. And we have approximately 860 residents in town. And that's, I looked it up, so
Okay.
approximately. So if you take 35,000 divided by the 860, that comes out to be about $40 a month is what that costs annually for us to do this. Where $40 a month is the basic service fee that we charge customers, of $39.60, I believe, for water service. Then there's more in addition if they use over a certain amount of water. And I'm not opposed to this, but I'm just kind of throwing out the reality that alone, that fee alone is gonna pretty much be the amount that covers all the residents' basic service.
Right, plus businesses,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
businesses are in there too, I didn't add that in, but
that's fine,
just as an approximate
yeah.
thing to think about. So, you know, that kind of affects, I'd hate to see us raise our water rates, but, you know, it kind of shows where we were gonna be coming out though, probably on expenses on the water side, with all the rest of our expenses that we have. But at the same time, these are expenses we're gonna face in the future. It's just a matter of we pay a bigger amount in the future, or it's spread out over time,
Right.
so.
Now, the one thing is, we'd like to see, before any rate adjustment we done to water, we want to get the new meters in
Yeah,
and see where our baseline is at that point, because it's been a while. So, we think that'll begin when the ground thaws enough here in the spring, before we have all the meters in stock to be able to go out and do that. So that when the vendor comes to do that, they can just do it in one visit and get it over with, versus scheduling and coming back multiple times. It's an easy way to miss things. So we'd like to see, when we get a month or two into that, then we look at it next spring and see if our current rate is adequate or if we're behind.
yeah.
So none of those new meters will be put in till the spring?
Probably not, no. I don't see us putting them in January, February. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a real pleasant time, unless it's, early spring and the groundhog does its thing, so,
Anybody else have any thoughts on the tank maintenance?
What was kind of the overall cost for when we redid the painting the the inside and the outside of that big tank. If
I
we were
wish
to,
I
like,
would've
add-
looked that
I
up,
know,
I'm not sure,
throwing out
but
there,
I
but-
know the logos alone were really expensive.
I was trying to think what the total amount was off the top of our heads on what we had to pay for that. That will be covered in the future, granted.
Well,
Hopefully
part
it'll
of that
last.
was covered with ARPA funds too. Leftover ARPA funds from the smaller tank.
Okay.
Remind me, is that something that is covered if, like,
Yeah,
in the maintenance as
Mhm.
well?
Yep.
yes.
Another thing, I don't know if it'd be an issue or not, is if there's any issues with the tank that there is like grant money for, that we would be applying for, if that would exclude anything for that water tower tank because we are doing this already and have the funds paid out for that. If, you know, for instance, if there's some sort of grant that, for the water system, we'd have to exclude the tank itself because it's already got a service agreement contract that's covering that, so that the grants wouldn't apply to it. I didn't know if that would be an issue or not. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Good question.
And it's not that it would be a deal breaker, it's just that we would have to cut out probably any grant funding for the water tower that would be covered under that. It would just have to be excluded from whatever we'd be applying for any funds for.
I suppose if there's stipulations for that, I mean, I would think we're not the only community doing
Yeah.
these
They-
kinds of agreements.
I think they have there was a lot of them, I looked them up,
Oh, okay,
just how many they had, and they have a lot of cities, so.
okay, yeah, so I mean, it could be that's a line out item in a
Yeah.
grant, hard to say.
How often have we had to have something done to the tanks? I mean,
The annual inspection is supposed to be done every year.
and what's the fee for that typically? Do you know?
And we can bring those answers back next time if you want to wait. We're not
Yeah,
set to
Yeah,
have
that's
to
kinda
do it
where I'm
this
at. I mean, if
time.
we could
I don't
have
like
some
the deadline to do this,
comparison.
So,
um,
well, February 1st was the tentative deadline, I think,
Yeah, so I mean,
on the
we've got,
contract, but.
we can push it to the meeting on the 9th, and then we'll get some
Some more numbers.
better answers
about what
for
some
you.
of our
Yeah,
ongoing annual fees would be if we don't do it. And then in my mind, maybe like I think one of you two just asked what the cost to repaint. I don't know if the outside necessary. I mean, I guess sure the outside too, but because we changed the logo, that would be a little different. But the inside of that, like the refurbishment of the inside of the tank, what that cost.
Well, they said the outside is covered if it starts, because without it, we only have a 1-year warranty, which is already expired.
Right.
Yeah.
And
As
the
long
rest
as you
would
don't
be covered
change-
if it starts to fade.
As long as you
or
don't change the
peel.
logo on it.
So,
I think that would be good to know, like I said, kind of what we've spent on.
I was gonna say, and then that's what I would ask is like what over the course of, let's say, the last 5 or 10 years, what we've spent on that tank to kind of be able to make a better decision.
okay, 5 to 10 years, roughly, okay. Any other specific cost questions? I have.
when it'd be for
annual-
both tanks too, maybe,
What's that?
which, well, I guess we're already in the contract with the other tank, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter, but, so,
Okay,
What was the term for this agreement? Length?
forever, no, 24 months is what it says on there. So every 2 years, we'd have to come back to it
right,
for an agreement.
and there's not more than 5% annual adjustment
Gotcha, yeah.
in the year in between.
Yeah, I would say if we just
Let's just
put this on the next.
table
agenda
that to the next one.
for
Okay,
a
we'll do
final
that,
vote. Plus, if
absolutely.
anyone else wants to chime in on it, it's another opportunity for
Yep.
public comment.
All right, with that, we will move to number 8, ordinance regarding RV storage in Marion. Brian and James.
Yeah, I'm gonna let James cover this one, because I don't think you've talked about this in my presence yet, so.
No,
That's why it's down for discussion versus
Action.
approval, unless you need to do it that way. Yeah.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
I think we went over this pretty much,
yeah,
back when, Mark was here. I think that, we was gonna put it back on the agenda for approval, but we never got to that point, so I think we had some pretty heavy agendas, and it just kept getting pushed back and kept getting pushed back, and then just kind of slipping through the cracks there, you know. But here we are, and we just, I guess it's probably be a good thing to just start with discussion again on it. Any questions?
So you can't have more than 2 trailers stored at an address unless you have a fenced-in backyard where they're within that, or a building covering for it,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And nothing, whether it's camper, boat, or trailer, can really be left in the driveway any longer than, what'd you say, the temporary 7 days? or
72
something?
hours.
72 hours, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, okay.
I
Yeah.
know some people have made like areas for their campers, so they put like gravel down, like on the side of their garages and stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's still,
Yeah, that's, if it's back there by the garage, then it's back behind the front of the house,
okay.
so, yeah. You know, I had one family call, they have a gravel pad beside their house, you know, it's back past the front of the house and stuff, so, yeah.
I know there was one community member that was concerned about theirs, how they've had it there forever and everything, and, but according to the way that we were drawing it up, that it wouldn't be an issue, because it's still back behind their house, and
Mhm.
it's beside the house, and there was only one unit there, so.
Yeah.
He didn't really understand that, I guess, what the ordinance was exactly, and so. He was
Right.
more approving of it once he knew that
Yeah.
his would be okay, but he also didn't want it to hinder anyone that was, wanting to promote recreation stuff in Marion, that as a hindrance to having recreation equipment and that, but I think it's still important that we do have some guidelines of what all you can have on your property that's not in a designated area, especially in the front of your house.
It is, so yeah, sometimes I've got, I got a couple of yards, it just becomes a lot of clutter and stuff, and it just becomes broke down and, you know, unusable stuff sitting in the yard. There's a 72-hour period there, you know, it's a continuous time frame, where you can bring your camper up, or you can bring your trailer up, you say you're a carpenter or something like that, or you're working on a house, you know, and you need to park out there, and you got a job going on there. You can load up the camper, go camping, come back, and you got another 72 hours to unload again and stuff. You know, it's not as restrictive as it sounds, I don't feel like. But it kind of keeps the front of the house clean and open, and there's no pulling up and unhooking your trailer and just leaving it sitting out in the street, you know, none of that stuff.
And it had went back and forth for planning and zoning the first few times. I remember they brought it up. I mean, their issues were all addressed with them too.
Yes.
To get it to this point.
Right. When I first come down here full time, I took this to the planning and zoning.
I remember it was kind of back and forth a couple times because
Yeah.
we wanted a couple other things addressed or something.
Well, I think it started out with is they wanted to know if you guys were even interested, because they didn't want to work on something that you guys were not interested in approving, you know. They didn't want to spend a bunch of time on it, so we went through it after you guys said, yeah, we'd be interested in looking at something. So I took it back to them, and then we sat down and we hammered on it pretty hard, and then we got it to Brian Bina, and Brian, he looked it over and made some corrections in there and stuff, and before we got it to you guys to look at.
That's all I have for at this point, until we move on to the
I
next
think I have
step.
anything, and hopefully we can, if anybody's got feedback in the next 2 weeks, they can get it back to us, and
Yeah.
then we can put it on in 2 weeks for approval.
Okay.
Thanks, James.
Yep,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Number 9, Vine Street weight limit restriction. Brian.
Yes, we did work for Vine Street pavement repair, and there was a question about if we want to try to preserve that portion and the rest of the road by doing some kind of weight limit on there, because right now we have heavy trucks, when they're full of trash, obviously, refuse, they're probably been the ones chewing that up, most likely, over the time. So we discussed a planning session, or a study session,
Yeah.
excuse me, about maybe doing that. So I brought back a draft ordinance. I have not given it to Mr. Beanie yet, because I want to make sure you all want to do it. And then there were some suggestions in your handout there for what the weight could be. So I basically kind of structured it that we keep the current code 14205 at the beginning that covers Roosevelt and, excuse me, that's the current one, so, excuse me, Eisenhower and Cedar have the weight limits right now at 65,000. And then would tack on a separate section that would cover this road. The recommendation is if you want to allow the empty trucks to go by, you could probably do 30,000 pound. If you want to prevent any trucks from going down there, put 20,000 pound. Of course, the exception to that would be any vehicles making regularly scheduled local deliveries. So if someone had to get something there on one of the street residents on that street needed something delivered, they can still do so by the exception. And then, of course, any government agency vehicles, like our own trash truck that needs to go through there to do pickups for folks. So that's the recommendations. It was also brought to me today. We might want to consider doing the same thing to Santa Fe to protect it while we're doing this one, if you're interested in doing that, and maybe force the use of spruce from Main Street to Santa Fe and the.
By doing this though, will it still allow, if the county was to run their truck plumb full of trash to exit, would they still be allowed to as a governing agency vehicle? Would be my question, because they're probably the ones that's gonna have the most weight the most often, if they go that route.
Okay,
In which
I know
case, this wouldn't do
Hillsborough goes
anything
that
to
way.
prevent them from doing that.
okay, well then,
So-
we can adjust it accordingly, however you wanna make that change. I didn't think about the county. I didn't know if it was a vendor or they did their own.
Most of them do them on their own.
It's the county.
County does it on their own.
Well,
Okay.
or like Florence, Hillsborough, they're all
Yeah, so each
Doing
trash
their
truck
own-
that would be bringing stuff in
Oh,
would
okay.
also be a governing agency
The
too.
local government entity,
We
they're
can,
not.
we can strike that.
We just say our own governing agency.
We can say the exception to city of Marion vehicles. Well, you know, it's.
Because
that's why
those are
it's-
the ones that's bringing the heavy weight in there.
Right, okay.
Another issue we will face though is they were gonna put that solar field back along there too.
On Washington.
So that would also mean there's gonna be heavy equipment coming in probably at some point with the construction for that. So it's just a matter of if that would be restrictive of them or not, or have an alternative route established so that they can avoid destroying it.
They could
possible.
go Walnut to Washington to access that solar
But
field.
again, I don't know if they would fall under as a governing agency vehicle to be allowed to go down that road or not. I know, I'm asking a lot of tough questions
That's
here.
okay. No, it's fine. That's why this is just a draft.
Yep,
But if our intent is to keep the weight off of Vine Street, whether it's a governing vehicle or not, I mean, they're the only ones that bring in loads of trash. I mean, typically a farmer's gonna have a horse trailer or something like that, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
all gonna be cities that are bringing the weighted trucks in there, which is what we're trying to keep from destroying the road.
yeah, 'cause those are the ones that'll be
So-
over 30-some thousand pounds.
Yeah.
I think we would just have to put a limit, but we're gonna have to have a pretty defined route of which way they can take, I guess, and have communication with them and tell them, this is the route we expect you to take, and.
That's fine. We're welcome to pass that out to all the
But,
parties.
and
that
what
might-
street, is it the one that runs right west of the Worm, or I guess what still call the Worm Building? Is it-
Spruce is, yes.
Okay, that's
It's city-owned.
Spruce.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's,
The Vine's further down.
But did we determine, do we think that's wide enough if you happen to have two, I mean, one coming and one going on that street, cause that's not.
probably
It's
not.
not.
No.
My other concern is, right, when it's dry outside, that's fine. But if it's wet and we're running trucks over that, that's not gonna hold up either.
Yeah.
So what's the route we expect them to take?
I think long-term, the solution has to be that when we go to do something with Santa Fe, that we have to, and maybe that's something that we try and go to the county with and get some assistance from them on, since they are the ones putting a lot of weight on that road, but rebuild that road to meet more of a commercial grade, right? So whether, if you do it in asphalt or whatever, you put like redo the base to where it would be able to handle that weight, and then that becomes your,
Make it the dedicated route.
Make it a little more like Roosevelt.
at least to the transfer station or to the railroad tracks or something.
So are we
I mean,
gonna
that's
try
my
and get them
thought.
then coming in on and then going back out Santa Fe too, and try and keep them off of,
Yeah,
Line.
to where they'd come in on Santa Fe, wrap around the backside of the transfer station through Way, back up and dump, and then back out Santa Fe that way too.
and and then that'd keep them off of, it's Walnut that runs right by. So try and keep them off of that block of Walnut in there as well.
I mean, ideally, yeah. Especially if you go in and specifically rebuild a street to be I mean, that's just me thinking out loud.
Right. Well, did the county just had, didn't they have something in the paper about looking at maybe privatizing that, the trash in and out of there? Is that correct, Eric?
Yes,
That was discussed.
privatize the whole transfer station, but that was pie in the sky.
Gotcha.
Here's the map. This is Vine. Transportation, this is the Vine we're talking about.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Santa Fe.
Okay, gotcha.
This is the one we're building.
Okay,
That's
gotcha,
where we're at.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I just think, like I said, if we're gonna put that on Vine Street, it just needs to be all the trucks, cause like I said, if we just let the trash trucks, that's the ones that are tearing it up to begin with. You know, whether it's a private one or owned by Hillsborough or Florence or our truck.
So,
Aside from regular pickup for
Right, right.
couple of my concerns. One, I assume that if we did this, we would want to try and send out notice to the local entities that run trash trucks on there, letting them know that we've done that.
Yeah, we can send one to each city, send one to the county.
And then my other
Nicely.
concern would be enforcement of it. I mean, that would fall on Aaron, and, I mean,
My question is, how would you enforce that?
Yeah,
First
right,
of all,
that's-
we're a government entity, but how are we gonna know what the weight is? Do we just
You don't
take
have
them down to
scales,
the
do you?
Transfer station and weigh it there, or what?
you just follow them down to the transfer station.
Bicycle.
Drive them, take them
Well-
down to the co-op and run them across the skate.
How do we do it for Cedar and Roosevelt now? Cause they're technically 65,000 pound limit.
Don't know that it's enforced,
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
It's
So
just
that's my, I
heavily
mean, that,
recommended.
I guess that's my concern, is if we put a restriction on there, but it's not enforced, what have we really done?
Yeah. I think it'd be better to get more of a dedicated route, as short as possible, so it's not as expensive to build. And like you said, make it so that it's more of a dedicated route that they know they should use, so that,
Well, I
I mean,
guess.
and like I said, I think the only ones we're really talking about is, like I said, Hillsborough, Florence, and our truck as far, other than the normal pickups. Like I said, if you kinda gave them a route and put a limit sign on there and say, we've restricted the weight, here's the route we expect you to take, I would think for the most
And the-
part, they would
Yeah,
respect that. 'Cause
the
I mean,
county themselves too,
Yeah, cause
running
like
the trailers
the other
back
people,
out.
you know, if you're down there on the weekend, I mean, most people hauling other trash in there is like little trailers or,
Yeah.
you know, maybe a small dump truck or something. I think it's the big commercial ones that are putting all the weight on it.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't think you'd have a lot of people violating it if you kinda told them, here's our route and gave them a fine structure, what that is. I mean, but like I said, it probably would be something a little bit hard to enforce. But if we don't do anything on it, the road will be right back where it was.
Mhm.
if that gives you guidance to figure that out now.
So what do we wanna do?
The big thing I think would, well, it wouldn't really address the weight limit on Vine, but for me, it's to look into something like Spruce or one of those streets of just how wide it is and what the possibility is of, in the future, making something like that a really short route, a heavy load surface, so that that could be more of a dedicated route. So be researching on that and seeing what that would look like, what it would cost, and if there's the space even there available to allow it to be done,
Probably have to acquire some of the private property on the west side of that.
and what that would take.
There's no room going east because of the worm farm building. Yeah, I've been on that road, it's
It's rough.
rough, yeah.
But it is a city road, so we could.
It is.
But it's also just the absolute shortest route, so it should be the cheaper way of making a heavy-duty street in
Yeah,
order
we
to.
Probably make it a
Lemont
gravel,
versus going
gravel
all the way
road.
down Santa Fe, which is about 5 times the length of Spruce,
Absolutely.
so. That's my thought. 'Cause I don't know that putting a weight limit on Vine is really gonna restrict anything that isn't a governing agency that's really gonna be causing any trouble on it right now. If the governing agencies are allowed to, then it's
We
not,
can take
doesn't
that
fall
out.
under it, so.
We can take it out, and I guess we go pick up our 3 residents' trash with a pickup truck. That way we're honoring it too.
So is that what most of the trucks come in now? They go on Vine and around behind
On
and enter,
Washington,
and
yeah,
then
to come into the scale. Yeah, and then come out and go back Santa Fe or to Walnut and around, but probably back down Santa Fe. Unless they go around and come back, Spruce technically parallel to the railroad tracks in between that and the transfer station, they could just go around and go back down Washington to Vine, which I think I've seen a couple times.
To me, it sounds like we need to figure out what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that we're leaning more towards trying to figure out a way to highlight a designated route versus putting a restriction on something.
That's my opinion, yeah. I don't know if anyone else
Is that
thinks that way.
fair?
I agree with that. I don't think you can enforce, there's just, like Aaron said, how would you even enforce that right now?
Okay.
Put a great big speed bump on it, I guess, and that wouldn't help anything, so just go down a different street.
Okay, so you want us to just do some basic exploration on this, Bruce?
Think
Maybe
so.
improve it with a gravel road?
Maybe
widen
look
it?
at, I mean,
What the
Yeah.
options would be, you know.
speak with Darren or somebody on what some options.
Yeah, he says that section
be.
of Santa Fe next to the transfer station's a heavier duty road than it is down further west. So it would make sense to use that Spruce section if we could develop it and make it safe for two-way traffic, especially vehicles that size.
We just have to
And
look
it's
at
so much shorter, so.
what the, like you said, what
but if we don't do
acquiring
something,
some additional, I'm sure we'd have to acquire additional street right away through there.
if we don't do something on that Vine though, how long is it gonna be before it's back like it was? Cause what'd we spend, 8,000 on that?
They
Or
did
not.
full depth patching underneath the worst areas, right? I mean, they completely dug it out and filled it back
Yes.
in with asphalt.
And ended
so-
up being 8 inches instead of 6. Also ended up being wider, because when we got in there to clear it out, turned out that road is 27 feet wide, not 19. Some of the grass had encroached over the top of it, and we covered it up. So,
It's quite the
So in
difference.
theory, those
Yeah.
worst spots
That we're,
that were bad would hold up because they're
They
gonna
should be
have,
thicker than they were.
right,
Yeah.
they would have full depth new asphalt in them. Until we can, they would hold up well enough until we can get a plan in place here.
I'd be fine with that, I guess.
okay. We'll explore the spruce option and bring that back as soon as we can get some information on that as
Okay.
as an alternative. Okay, we'll let this sit until
Okay.
otherwise, okay?
Thanks, Brian.
Number 10, public input contest for City of Marion logo. Megan.
You got a handout for that too that I gave you on the contest rules that she's gonna show you.
Evening, guys.
Good evening.
We had talked a while back, again at the study session, I believe, about the possibility of changing the city's logo and the idea of hosting a public art contest for creation of a new logo. So I have assembled my idea of what the rules and regulations for that logo contest should look like, as well as an entry form. A couple of the big key things that I wanted to mention is, of course, we're opening it up to the public, all ages, but anyone under 18, parents are signing for them. We want to make sure that all of the artwork is original work. We're not using clip art, copyrighted things, and avoiding AI generation as well. Not as easy to always identify that, but we're going to encourage that that is not happening. And we wanted to try and keep the artwork about an 8x10 size. We could always scale that down, but that way we could make sure that we were getting good resolution of things. Maximum being 11x14, so we don't have any like giant mural sized submissions that we have to find work space for. We'd like to collect submissions and then have a public showing of the different submissions. Not necessarily that the entire public is there to vote on it, but they get to see what people have created. I think that that'll help generate some excitement and also some, civic pride in what we're doing with this logo creation. But I would like us to formulate a committee for selecting the finalists and then the winner of that logo contest. And I think that that's something that we can discuss further as to who that committee should be made from, what that looks like. In my mind, the easiest things are to select some of our, groups that we have within the community, as far as that goes.
I like that you have that, because I would agree from my perspective that we're just kind of kicking the tires on this. We may just decide to say, hey, we're sticking with the logo that we've got, too.
Right.
I think it's great. You kind of touch base on everything. I think it's awesome.
Excuse me, sorry.
What do you need from us tonight? on it?
I think just I'm here to answer any questions. I
Okay.
believe we're not voting on anything tonight, is that correct?
Unless you want to tell us to move forward with it.
Unless you guys are good, then we'll run.
When were you wanting this to go out?
I'm hoping that we can we thought we'd put it off until after the holidays, because there will be, everybody will have enough going on their plates then. But I would like to start beginning of January, because I don't want to put it off for long. Because we have a lot of marketing materials that are already created and ready to go out, and I'd hate to make a big purchase and then change the logo, and now all of our materials don't match anymore, so.
How long are we in, maybe it's said in here, I missed it. How long do you think you would want to leave? Oh, there it is, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
For a month, basically, if we would open it January 1st. I mean, we could
Yes.
start saying that we're going to be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought we'd leave submissions open for a month, January 1st through the 31st, and then we can schedule when we'd like to do like a public viewing and whatnot. And depending on how many submissions we get, that will probably affect where we'd like to do a public viewing. My initial reaction is to do at the city library, maybe the Santa Fe room, but if we have a ton of submissions, maybe we want to use the ballroom. But if we have 10, I don't want to put 10 things in the middle of that huge ballroom, because then it just looks depressing, so.
They might be
Yep.
10
Make 'em really
quality
big.
things.
Huh?
They might be 10 quality things.
Yes, but they look dwarfed by the size of the ballroom, unless we get, those mural-sized submissions.
There you go. Which should be disqualified, because you said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it looks good.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I love it.
Do we want to just approve it then and say, open it the 1st of January, or
Where was
do you
it,
want to hold off and,
maybe I wasn't seeing, where is it outlined though, that the option that we could still, if we decide to stick with what we currently have?
third page, Tim, right at the top, number 4?
City reserves the right to vote no, not to select any entries as the final logo, if none are determined suitable, okay. Okay.
I mean, the goal would be to not do that, because I think that would create a lot of ill will, if people were really excited about this and then we were like, never mind, but if all we get is a bunch of, pencil drawings of Bart Simpson, I think understandably we're not gonna choose that as the city logo.
Yeah. Guess then the question, do we decide tonight or do it at the next meeting?
Well, we can hold off. We're not going to do it till January. We could hold off till the next meeting anyway.
gives more input too, if anyone wants to say anything,
Yeah.
speak on it.
Okay,
Looks great, that
All right.
weekend.
perfect.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public forum. Anybody wish to speak about anything at all? Can you come up to the microphone, please?
On the contest for the city logo, is there contingency in case our logo that we have already is better than anything that's coming?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just discussing, there's a line item in there that the city can choose to not select any of them if they're not deemed suitable.
Yeah, I know, but what about the people who enter the contest, they have a vision of winning. And
Yeah,
if the city decides to keep their logo, who wins?
well, that would be the thing is, that
What I'm
nobody would
talking-
win at that.
You know, I'm talking about, rather than a contest, maybe voluntary submission. But a contest somebody's gotta win. But if someone doesn't win, where does the contest go?
I think it's more just kind of the fun part of getting people's ideas, and, you know, I think reading the rules and seeing that maybe, you know, the public is not going to pick that design, but I think that's kind of part of the input, and I don't think there's really a winner or a loser in it, in a sense.
I just figure if you label it as a contest, there should be a winner or a loser.
Is there something else, is there another way you'd like it to see it labeled, that it would be better than that, you think?
That's why I think it should go up for discussion, because maybe as a voluntary submission,
Yeah.
but just a contest, especially if someone puts in something really good, although it's not good enough for a logo, because you want a logo to be simple. But if they put in something really beautiful and then, well, no, we're just gonna use this instead, and then, I don't know, just the contest part of it is, I mean, if you're gonna actually pick one and make that the winner, then I could see that, but if you have the option of keeping what we got, I don't know if a contest would be the best idea.
I think as long as we state that going forward, you know, that we may or may not use it, I mean, everybody would kind of know that going in, that, yeah, what they put forward may not be chosen.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a possibility, make that known before,
Yeah.
that, you know, maybe we won't, none of it will be. I just thought of the contest, and then there is no winner.
We're all winners.
A little weird.
We're all out there.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Just related to that, and something I'd encourage you to do, Megan, is, and I base this on the fact that I served on the marketing committee for the University of Illinois system when we created a logo for it, and also for about 10 years was one of the chairs of the logo committee for the Association for Education in Journalism and Mass Communication. You're asking for the big logo so you can see the resolution. That's a great idea. What you also need to ask for is a small version of it, so that you can see it on a business card, you can see it on an envelope, so that it has that impact. As he was saying, logos really need to be very simple, and you need to see it in the small version too. So I might figure out what you want to put it on and say, here, put it on this thing too, so that you make sure that it has the impact out of that small thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you got a copy of this. There is a couple lines in here where it says that we may request different sizes, and also encourages them to do simplified.
Well, I
Without
would
fine details.
encourage them, because we used to run a contest that involved students all over the country doing it, and they were required to submit a logo that was, 1 inch by 1 inch or 2 inch,
Okay.
very small size, as well as seeing the large version, because you do want the SVG, you do want the whatever else.
Gotcha.
You don't want somebody using Canva and giving you a bitmap. But something that would be small enough so that if it's, a shoulder patch on Aaron's shoulder, or it's a business card or something like that, it still has impact. That was always, the previous logo the city had that had all these waves and everything, you look at it small, you can't read it. So one of the tricks that we've used in the past is you print it out about 2 inches by 2 inches, post it on a wall, stand about 20 feet back, and see if you can recognize the logo.
Gotcha.
If it gets too blurry, that distance, it doesn't really have that pop out.
That makes sense. I can definitely edit this so that we're asking for a large size submission and a small size submission.
Yeah, I might just give them something that you think you're gonna use it on and say, how would you use it in this document? Where would it go in that document? That usually gets them thinking in the right direction.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, good
Thanks,
idea,
Eric.
Thank you.
Might get additional sponsorship from the eye doctor too. Those distances.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
I'm Jerry Cheesick with the airport board, and we've been getting some dirt out there from Cobble Street to fill in some of the low spots on the runway. And we've got a bunch left over or stockpiled at the tree dump, and we was looking at the main runway. It drops off about 4 foot off the end of the north end, and that'd be a good place to use what's left over with the dirt to make a slope for if anybody runs off the runway, they won't total out their airplane. Instead of just us doing it, we figured we ought to at least go through you guys and get permission to get it done. I mean, we've been doing all the work and using a lot of our equipment too, from the different pilots to spread the dirt out and stuff with, so.
This is like the millings and stuff that are down there? in the
Yeah,
tree
where
dump? Is that,
came off of
that
Cobble
accurate?
Street, yeah.
do we have anything else we were using them for, or they just,
No, we've sent primarily it out there for use. It's a mix of dirt and millings. They didn't separate them. It came as a mix, so
Right.
it's pretty
It's kind
good
of
for
limited
them.
on what it can be used for then, since it's mixed
Yeah.
with dirt, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, pretty helpful for
Yeah,
what they
but-
need. And,
Yeah, it worked good for the ramp going down
yeah.
off the runway. I mean, it's just gonna be an overflow, more of a safety deal. I mean, down the road, we could probably extend the runway using that, but for now, it's just gonna be more of a safety ramp to come off the runway.
I don't have any problem with that.
Nope.
So,
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay. Good. We'll move forward with that. Darren will help us make sure we get it spec'd, where it's legal and everything for use out there.
And you said it's at the tree dump now, so will the city haul it out there then, or?
Yeah, we'll have to haul it out, yeah. And we took quite a bit out there for the work on the grass, one of the grass
Yeah.
runways, and they used it. They worked hard to get that put in and took care of a big need, so there was a byproduct that was helpful that way. We appreciate.
I have another, just other question for you. Out there, there was an inspection done out there for safety and all that, and there were some issues with some trees that were over a certain height at different locations out there. Has that been addressed, or do we still need to address that? Do you know?
I really don't know. but
Okay.
Like I say, we could have a work day and,
Well, there was an inspection done, and that was all reported to us, and it was gonna get done, but I just never heard back again. I just didn't know if you
yeah, well,
happened to know.
trees and don't go along with airplanes.
They don't
very
mix
good.
very well. It's open high line, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
anybody else? All right. And with that, we'll move on to department head reports. Start back with Margot.
Okay, now I'm live. Hope everybody will come and join us on the 29th for Holly Jolly Christmas. I'm still taking parade entries. I'd appreciate if you'd contact me so I don't have to contact you. And we're looking forward to a good time there, so hope everybody will come out for that. That's the main thing on the plate right now, so if you got questions, let me know.
The only thing we got going on with the police department is, we got flyers up at different areas of town. We're doing a Fill the Cruiser event. All the, items donated are gonna go to Safe Hope here in Marion. So we get, we've had some people donate, laundry detergent, toys for kids and items like that. So we're doing that through the 12th, and then on the 12th of December, we'll be giving everything to Safe Hope.
Cool.
Real quick here, I got an update on 1002 East Nickerson. Contractor came in there. It was one of our dangerous structures. They were not quite done with it, and you guys had given them an extension to this here meeting, and they have since then covered up the, filled in the low spots in the yard with the dirt and everything, and shaped it up so it's mowable now. So that project is complete now. So we've got 2 of the 6 that we started with completed, and working on the rest of them.
Was that the garage, James?
That was a little shed back here.
Shed.
Yeah. That property, that's been a win. That little structure has been a win for the city. You know, we went into it there just knowing that we was going to tear that down ourselves and pay for it. And because we've been mowing the yard ever since I got here, sending the owner notices, he'd sign for them, and send him a bill, and he'd sign for it but not pay. And so I just figured we was going to have to do that shed too. And lo and behold, right before the first hearing, I think I got a phone call from him, and hey, got any contractors up there that would tear that down? I'm like, well, yeah, let me see what I can do for you here. So, you know, that's been great. Since then, he's contracted the contractor also to mow the yard, so we don't have to mow the yard anymore either. So I've been real happy with that.
Did he pay the back mowing that we had done?
I put it on his taxes.
Oh, gotcha.
Janet put it on his taxes.
Right.
402 South Freeborn. It's been a real nice addition back there. Closing up on that there. We're going to have final inspection on that there. I think it's the phase. They put in a real nice addition there. So that's about all I got. If you got any questions.
Thanks, James.
I have been updating the rhino map for the rhino capital of Kansas. I'm hoping to have that done by summer, so that when we start getting some tourism through town at a higher rate again, we've got that all updated. As it is right now, we hand a visitor that map, and about half the places it sends them to, there is no rhino. So I'd like to correct that. There were originally 73 rhinos on that map. I have accounted for 68 of them, which I'm finding very impressive of myself. But if anybody knows where the remaining 5 are, please let me know. And then hopefully we can give them a little bit of a facelift before we really start getting traffic through town too, so that we can put our best hoof forward. Put up chain. I have a meeting tomorrow with Kansas Tourism. So hopefully I will have a lot more information on how we can be best presenting our community on the state level very soon here. And then I've been working hand in hand with Tristan Cope on some ideas to help our younger generations in town head down a career path that hopefully will keep them home. So that's what I am currently on at the moment.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Sounds good.
You can put it back up.
I think that's it.
For your report. Yeah, would you like to? It's your report, you're next. So.
Janet?
Okay, so Brian and I attended training at
What?
Lloyd
Janet
Group.
has something?
Yeah, he just reminded me.
We're gonna have to keep Mike away more often.
It was good training.
That was it,
Lloyd
Lloyd
Group
Group?
over in,
Yeah.
yeah. It was really good. His building is, wow.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
KMAAG, right, training?
K-Mod.
KMOD, okay. Yeah, it was beneficial.
Did he feed you? What was he saying? Was he
I was
gonna
gonna
do
say.
barbecue
Yeah,
or
he
something?
catered in barbecue. There's that barbecue place over at, is it Galva or Canton?
It's
Which one
Galva,
is
right
it?
there on the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really super good.
Very good.
so, yeah, there was like 30 folks from all over Kansas there
That's awesome.
representing the local governments, so.
Nice.
Good training. He'll have other opportunities in the future, which will be beneficial. I'll share those with you as well when time comes, in case there's any interest with you all to do that too.
I'll report back then.
All right. Hopefully we hear more before then.
Brian?
Okay, we had a video board on Main Street outage this weekend. I noticed it was dark at one time.
It's fixed, it's running.
It's running. Mysteriously, it's running.
Yeah.
But I think the vendor's still gonna come back and check it.
I called him this morning
Okay,
and I asked him, I said, we only got a half a board. I know you're coming Friday to work on it, but can you reset it from your end? And the next time I went by there, it had a full board.
yeah. Stephen wonders if maybe there's a part that's on the solar flare or what, I don't know, issue that might need to be addressed. So when he talked to him, he said there's 3 components they might wanna look at.
Yeah.
So, just to
So it
prevent,
wouldn't hurt to check it because
Yeah.
it's been there, and nobody's ever worked on it,
yeah,
so.
so, but it was nice to see it working again, so,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
Gene, for your help in that. Our carpet was cleaned this last week, and, looks much better, by the way, so. And appreciate Gene coming in and unwiring and rewiring the room, that was, no small feat. So, he and the mayor actually moved the furniture back in on Saturday, so, appreciate their effort. Let's see, tomorrow our Public Works team members will be out in the beautiful weather, filling potholes at various locations throughout the city. We've taken some suggestions over the phone, over, social media, and then just on our own, observance, so they'll be out trying to hit as many of those as they can here before we get rain later in the week. Hopefully they'll all hold up for that, so, they'll be working on that to get that done. As far as the merry-go-round, we have an update. There was a question on that. And Marion Manufacturing gave us the quote, and that includes the pole. We were making sure the pole was included in that. And I think that's gonna be a winter project for us to rebuild that with the hopes of putting it out next spring, when the weather's good again. Any-
Yeah.
That it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
awesome.
that.
yeah. In time for its 100th, potentially, celebration there, so.
Anniversary, birthday.
You can add that to the list of anniversaries.
Yeah, I mean, a portion of a year off in 100 years is pretty good, I think, so, yeah. We'll give a little rest this winter and bring it back out, is the plan. That's all I have to report, unless there's any questions, concerns, anything else we can do, okay?
Good.
Then we'll plan to see you on December 9th again for our next meeting, and we'll get all that publicized,
Okay.
okay?
Council, Tim, start down with you.
Yep, I had a couple things. I had, received an anonymous letter about the power rake that we purchased. And the person was rather concerned about the fact that, this piece of equipment wouldn't fall under, the expenditures for the, I'm gonna misstate this,
Special highway.
special highway fund that we have, that we receive from the state, that we have a special portion of our budget for. And addressing the streets, alleys, maintenance, everything, the wording with the state. And so I reached out to Scott Lloyd about this, and I said, posed the question to him, and he responded. He said in his last 43 years of work with local governments, this has come up a lot, and similar questions. And he says he's no attorney, but he saw no issue with it, and it's been very common for something like this that's used primarily for maintenance of a street and alley, which is really its main, almost sole purpose. And he didn't see that being any issue. The state doesn't break down every itemized thing that can or can't be used. It's just construction, reconstruction, alteration, repair, maintenance of streets and highways. And I believe the run I originally read too also had alley. This was a shortened version. But there's not a itemized list of it can be used for this, it can't be used for that. So then it falls under the Attorney General's opinions on it. And there's been a lot written over the years, so I went back and looked at the different Attorney General's opinions since like the 70s. And I did not find anything that directly said or didn't say that it could be used for like something as specific, breaking it down to that. Now, if we were buying a lawnmower to mow, that's different than something that's actually being used directly on in the alley and the streets to be used. So Scott did not see any issue with that. The second thing that was brought up about that was the fact, well, not the fact, but they were concerned that our goal is to not bring up an issue and vote on it in the same meeting. And I would have addressed this to the person individually, but it's anonymous, so I want to tell it to everyone. But we did not actually just bring that up and vote on it in one meeting. We actually have had many meetings, the November 6th meeting, the November 20th meeting, and then the November 3rd meeting. The 20th one even specifically, we were approaching voting on that and put it off for an additional meeting. So there wasn't just one, but two full meetings where it was on the agenda and we addressed it. So I just want to answer that question the best I could on that issue. The second thing I had was, I've noticed going down Main Street, there's the retaining wall in front of the school that runs from the front of the school and it runs down to the museum. And that's an old retaining wall that I'm sure is pretty old. That's, it's a neat wall, but there's a few spots on it where the top is starting to, some rocks have come off of it. And also just the general structure of it starting to get some.
It looked like somebody ran into it.
It was
I think
hit.
they did on Halloween.
No thing.
That's what I thought.
But also just looking at seeing it, because we had that wall fell out at the cemetery that we replaced. That was before you were here, I believe. But a couple years ago, I was driving down Main Street, and it was a day that there was really heavy, fast rain. And I was driving there as the rain was coming down, and there was actually, the water was running off of that property, and there was a big waterfall over the edge of that wall. So that wall is holding a lot of hydraulic pressure, and then with freezing and the heat and thaw, that just it might be smart to take a look at that. First, the question is that the cities or is that the schools where it falls on the property? And if that was to fail, what we'd be looking at, and if there was anything that we could do to help prevent or get it a little further before there would be any failure, whether it be where you re-put the, what am I saying?
Dead man.
Well, dig behind the backside and relieve the pressure and put some sort of drainage, and then just fixing up any of the cracks and any of the weak spots in it, or allowing areas for drainage to come out through it somehow. So it might be something to look at before we face the whole thing falling over someday. And granted, one end of it's only about 1 rock high. That won't be so expensive, but the other end it's a good 5-6 rocks high. So
Okay.
it's just something I wanted to bring up that we at some point take a look at and address. And then if we can't address those few rocks that were already broken on the surface of it. So that's all I had.
I don't have anything. Amy?
I don't have anything.
I don't think I have anything either. With that,
I'll make a motion then that we
All
adjourn this
right.
meeting. I move that we adjourn this meeting. Let me say it properly.
I'll second that.
motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.